Hey guys, so for our last lesson in part 1 we talked about making time for art, and today I want to talk about making space, and I'm going to show you some pictures of what my workspace actually looks like, which is messier than it seems. But it's actually pretty well organized at this point. Like, I can pretty much find whatever I want whenever I want to. But I have a little travel bag, which is this guy here, which looks like, let's see, it's just like a pouch, like a Crafty pouch. I think I paid about $5 at Michael's for it, and I like it because it's big, it's sturdy. I can just plop it down on the table, grab everything I want out of it, and it holds like a surprisingly large amount of stuff. So what I'm gonna do is actually pull everything out and show you what I got. And I mix this up depending on like what I've been into lately. So I might occasionally swap out, like maybe right now I think I have a bunch of pens and markers, but sometimes I'll swap out and I'll put in like my Derwent Inktense colored pencils, or I will add Prismacolors, or I'll do a bunch of Copics, or really just whatever is catching my mind. Usually everything that's in here always stays in here, and like I know, you know, my go-to items are generally in this bag, so it's usually like right around my desk. And if I go and art journal like at Panera or a friend's house, I just have to grab this bag, and you can see my journal's actually already in here. So let's start with the stuff on the side pockets, because I don't actually use these very often, so who knows what's in here. Alright, acrylic block for stamps. We have a bag of, these are stamps. My father was a stamp collector, so this is just like a big huge bag of stamps. It looks like they're all from the same place too, but these are all used stamps, so they might show up in something sometime. I don't think there's anything in this pocket. We have compressed charcoal. These are low temperature glue sticks, and I think that at one point I had the glue gun here, but I don't use that for art journaling. This is for another project I was working on. Okay, so inside of here, first thing first, art journal. And actually I almost always have two art journals. So I have this one is my main journal, and then this is one, I made this, I learned how to do this in the Stitched class, which is ongoing for the whole year, and it's awesome. I definitely recommend it. This is the only like journal-y project, it's all sewing stuff. In here I have, this is a list, actually you guys are gonna see this. This is a list I brainstormed of prompts for weekly art date, and so I keep it in here, and if I can't think of what to do, I do something from my prompt list. And I also have this on hand if I'm journaling with a friend and they don't know what to do. I say, hey, choose something from this list. And there's just a few pages. I just kind of play in here. I don't really, this is, I was testing out my new watercolors, which I didn't like them at first, but now I love them. A kind of not so good face. Just random. So those are my two journals. If I'm waiting for a background or something to dry in this, then I'll work in here, usually is how that works. I have a small assortment of collage materials. I find I'm not really doing as much collage lately as usual. I have catalog from Free People. This is another catalog, the Peruvian collection. And I just have these in case, like, if I'm really stuck, then I'll flip through a catalog and look for stuff. Some dictionary pages, because I use those a lot. A French dictionary. I think I had a specific project I was working on with this, but I decided to keep it in my art journal bag in case I came up with more ideas for it. Alright, we have my trusty paint palette, which is always very messy like that. I also have my paint towel, which this thing is beat up and colored like crazy. And I will keep using this until there's not a single spot left that can absorb water, and then I'll probably get a new one. But it's an old kitchen towel that I just repurposed. When I run out of something, like, so when I started with clear gesso, I bought a small bottle to decide if I liked it, and I decided that I did like it, and we ended up getting a giant bottle, so I kept the little bottle so that I can have it, and this is only like partially full. If you can even see, it's like that full. I keep this in here, so I have it with me in case I feel. Glazing medium, same thing. It's like half full from the first bottle of it that I bought. I figure when it empties, like, I'll add more to it. This is small bottle of gel medium. just to have it on hand. Stamp that I've had for many years and only recently started using it. My koi watercolors. See, that's a lot of stuff in this bag. We haven't even got to this pouch yet. We'll leave that for last. And we have a couple pencils here, which probably should go in the pouch, and this is an eraser. So, there's that. Alright, so let me clear off, and we will get to my magical pouch of art journaling awesomeness. Oops, sorry for the banging around. There we go. Alright, so most of the fun stuff is in this pouch, which I got this pouch at the thrift store for like 50 cents or something. I thought it was cute, so I decided I'd find a use for it, and it's like the perfect size for like, because when I art journal out, I don't want to just have a couple of things, because it always seems that whatever I'm inspired to do is like the one thing I don't have with me, so instead I have a small selection of like everything I like. So I have my Ranger archival ink. I always keep a rubber band around it. I don't know if this is really essential, but I'm always worried that it's going to come open and dry out or something. I have a few, I think these are ½ ounce, yeah, ½ ounce like sample size of golden fluid acrylics. I like to always have 3 colors, so right now I have Quin Nickel Azo Gold, Quin Magenta, and Phthalo Turquoise. So I have those in case I feel like painting. I have a chunk of a credit card. This is actually my AAA card for gesso and such. I don't actually have my gesso in here, but a lot of times I have like this little jar of gesso here, which you'll probably see me use in videos pretty often. It's just gesso plus water, because my gesso is really old, so I add water, and sometimes this will be in my pouch. Scissors, Tombow. Hardly ever use this anymore, but I still keep it in case I feel like doing stuff. Tons of pens and markers. I mean, I'll just keep pulling them out. You're gonna see, like, this thing is full of them. And if I can't find a pen, I usually know that I should look in my pouch, because it's probably in there. Tons of stuff. This is a bottle of water, which I can use to activate my watercolor paints. More pens. Alright, I have a glue stick. This is in here. I haven't actually used this for a while because I forgot about it, but it seems weird to have a necklace like this, but what I do is like put it down on the paper and use spray paint or spray ink around it, and it leaves a cool texture, so that stays in the bag. I have some index cards. I have some shipping tags. This envelope I think has more stamps in it. Yeah, these are red stamps, which I used on a batch of postcards I sent out recently. Not the ones for you guys. That was Hannah does a postcard swap all the time. Here's my extra Tombow. In case I am journaling with a friend, they can use one too, because I don't like to share. I do like to share, but I would prefer that they have their own. So, small selection of washi tape. I just like rotate out what washi tape I throw in there. Apparently I have the other chunk of the card. Who knew? There you go. Maybe that's for a friend too. This is a little bit of, this is cut and dry stamp pad foam, and I've never used it as a stamp pad. I use it for stencils, which I sometimes have stencils in the back of my journal. I have a set of stamps. These are I guess they're right the other way. Number stamps I think are really cool. So those are in there. And that's it. Now I'm empty, but all that stuff fits in my pouch. And as I said, I rotate that out. So for those of you who have like a very small amount of space for art journaling, you might want to try making a travel bag that you use at home. Sounds weird, but then you have like all of your essentials together in one place that takes up a relatively small amount of space, and you can always swap out what supplies you're using at any particular time. Like this, I mean, if I showed you this like 2 weeks from now, a month from now, some of the stuff would be the same, but a lot of it would be different. Like I might have different paint colors, I might have color pencils instead of markers, I might have spray ink instead of paint, or whatever. So that's my art journal bag. And as I said, I'm going to show you some pictures of my studio space. And just think about the fact that it doesn't really matter how much space you have, it's more that you can access what you want when you want it. Okay, so this is my desk. It's very messy. This is like a desk cover thingy. My desk is huge. It's awesome. I used to work in very small spaces, so it's nice to have all the space. My computer's right here. I have this lamp and this lamp for making videos. I have a nice window, lots of light. That is really that messy. Sometimes it's messier, but it doesn't seem to matter how much I clean it. It always ends up like that, so I just kind of go with it. Right over here, when we turn, I have this cubby that is actually a shoe rack that I turned on its side and turned into an organizer for me. And I have these type of baskets that I got like 3 for $1, something like that at Walmart. And this is pretty organized. There's a couple cubbies that like don't really have a purpose yet, but that's okay. So let me take you through it. I can never really see the bottom layer because I always have like piles of stuff. Like here's an art journal in progress. Here's a bunch of markers, a magazine, some miscellaneous leather from a necklace I was making, glue gun, this is circle cutter, so Derwent ink pens, like all sorts of crap here. There always is. So I plan on that, and this stuff is stuff that I don't need to access very often. Here are all of my index cards and miscellaneous like office stuff. We have my student grade watercolor paint, E6000, which is essential for some jewelry stuff, gems, miscellaneous stuff I don't really use very often. Here I have blank journals and like 3D elements that I bought for a class and used only for that class and never since. This cubby is empty because I have a printer that lives there, but I took it out for a button making thing lately. Here I have a big roll of Punchinella, and this is my Copic airbrush system. Here are where my business cards live, and you can see they're all labeled. Like these are actually Moo business cards, like the minis, but I made them as pocket mirror tags, and those are for my optical lenses. Here we have some ink. This is for fabric, and I bought a bunch of it like cheap on eBay or something, and I think the only one I've ever opened is the orange, so I should work on that. Here I have punches, miscellaneous punches, and then this is all ink. So there's like a thing full of ink in there. This is my label maker, and I have another one that's currently who knows where at the point, but that lives there, plus back in there are the refills. Here are pan pastel soft tools, and the pastels that I have that are not in my palette, which you'll see later. Here's where my watercolors live when they're not in my travel bag. Back there are my portfolio oil pastels, and these are Neocolors. I had them in a tin, but I realized I was never using them, so I put them in a tin so that I see them and use them more often. Here's all sorts of tape. Generally not washi tape, because I have that on a dispenser that you'll see in a little bit, but every other kind of tape you can think of is probably in there. This is kind of random stuff, but there are Stuart Gill, different kinds of paints. I really should put those with my other paints because I never think to use them there. I don't even know what else is back in there. Here we have Twinkling H2O watercolors. Same thing, should be with my other paints. And my craft knife, which usually actually lives down here. I put it in the wrong place. Glitter, this is actually a school supply, but I have tons of glitter back in there. These are stamps. This is the stamps like my name and website address. I have a couple different alphabet sets, little ones. You've seen this box before. It has a bunch of my hand carved stamps in it. I'm not even going to pull it out because it's going to fall apart, but everything's in there. Miscellaneous office supplies like extra tape, binder clips, and then these are Shiva paint sticks. Here is a Copic DVD and some random stuff. Like this is the idea journal, not an actual art journal. Here we have, this is a button that Nick made me a long time ago. More stamps, including my date stamper. Back in there, in that blue pouch, are Perfect Pearls. Here are some empty glitter containers that I thought I would use for something, and these are micro beads that I keep thinking I should come up with more than one use for. I use them for class to make like these bottle necklaces, but that's it. This is a random unsorted one that I have not figured out a purpose for. This is all of my receipts and invoices and stuff, and then I also have blank shipping tags. These are clear. These have stuff printed on them, and then I also have some library pockets, which are these. This is kind of a random assortment of, I think back in there I have blank DVDs. I have some liver of sulfur, which is for like blackening metal, and then I have some flowers that Nick made whenever he did origami. I think his instructor made that one. Whoops. Here, Pearl-X powders. This is a pen, like a dip pen thing that I borrowed from Nick. In here we have embossing powders, and then this tub is alcohol inks, and that's what this is, blending solution for alcohol inks. These are, I'm going to pull out this one so I can show you. I made my own applicators for distress inks, which are down here, and I basically used Velcro like this to stick onto these blocks that I got at the recycling center. So each one has its own color, and most of them are labeled. So this one is for faded jeans, and that way I don't have to like always be switching those little pads back and forth. I think they'll last longer that way. And then in here I have pretty much a lifetime supply of eyelets. I mean, this thing is full of them, and I hardly ever use them, but I have a bunch that I picked up randomly on clearance. That's why I'm not allowed to shop clearance anymore. And we have distress inks and miscellaneous Tim Holtz products. This is the battery charger for my camera, and this plugs in for my heat tool, which you'll see in a minute. And then here's my little bulletin board with some random stuff on it. And I have some miscellaneous artist trading cards. I have a bunch more that I keep meaning to put up, but I haven't done it yet. Okay, I forgot that on top of here I have stuff. This is like a little wooden drawer organizer that I painted with gesso and never did finish. The only one that's labeled sequins and googly eyes, since apparently I have a big use for those. And then I know that in this drawer, magnets. I have no idea what's in the other drawers. One of them used to be all glue. Oh, this is all coins. More glitter, which is funny because I never use glitter because it gets everywhere, but I have a ton. Miscellaneous paintings that have not been hung up yet. There's a little book that Nick made for me. This is my little jar of everybody's names for when I do the drawings. These are all the full year members are in here. Big box of Scrabble tiles. These are all foam brushes. This is like my medicine stuff. That's more medicine stuff up there. That's my crafty muse. I trash picked that picture and think it's super cool. Her name is Maria Josefa, I think was the name. It's on the back of it with a date, but I can't remember exactly, but she rocks. Okay, here I keep, I have a few of these, the little roller thingies. I can't think of what the word is right now. Spray inks, I have like alcohol based ink, and I have watercolor based ink. I have spare credit cards because I just keep them on hand at all times. A sponge in case I ever need a sponge. This tool that I found at Michael's that like will do shapes and gesso and stuff. This is just like random. These used to be sorted, but now they're just kind of whatever pens and pencils I throw in there. Sumi ink. Glazing medium. These are actually all of my different mediums are here. So gel medium and glazing medium, those are the two I use the most often, so they're like right there so I can grab them because my chair is right here, so I just spin around. In here, this is a shoebox from IKEA that I have turned into an art place. I have blank, like clear plastic for stencils. I have laminating sheets, and then this binder you've probably seen before, but it has all of my templates, and if I'm feeling lazy I just shove them in here and eventually sort them, and you can see that I have some. And I also have a set of stamps here, and I think there should be another set of stamps. Yep, all my stamps are in here, kind of out of sight, out of mind, so I think I need to move them. And then this one, this is like less easily accessible because I don't use it very often, but this is all my bookmaking stuff. So these are canvas boards that I use for covers. Down there are the tools I use. I have beeswax, my like bookbinding cloth and tape. I have silk ribbon that I use to do the fringes. Basically anything, like if I need to bake a book, I'm gonna look in here. My needles are in here, my threads are in here. And then the other random thing that's in here but makes sense because it's with the beeswax is my, this little guy. Little tiny iron. I can't remember what that is specifically called. And below here we have blank canvases that I just keep for when I feel inspired. Here is a box of like random media that was sent to me by Golden, and as I run out of stuff I pull stuff out of here and use it. Here's a foam head that I'm eventually going to turn into a sculpture. That's my giant bucket of gesso. Over here, so I just turn around, I keep my paint right here. This is random collage stuff. This is tissue paper. In here we have fabric paint, we have some random mediums, and we have some journals that are either in progress, so like this is an in progress journal. And then this is a book that I got as a present, and I'm eventually going to turn into an altar book, but I haven't got that far yet. But it has like this really awesome, like luxurious paper. It's going to be great. This is acrylic paint, which this pouch usually lives down here with these pouches. Another journal in progress. Usually my water brush and most used markers are in here, so if they're not in the travel bag, they're in here. They're like water brushes that I haven't started yet. Down here I have some miscellaneous paint and medium. This is watercolor paint, this is acrylic paint, this is gouache. Here is my pan pastel palette. In here I have a giant, like this is all, I guess you can't tell what that is, but those are all stamps. This thing's full of stamps. This is my little test journal where if you weren't following for you've already seen this before. Like I test out techniques and keep it in there. Got a couple things to paint there, and then here is where I throw like any catalogs and stuff that I get. They go in here. The box below it is empty. I haven't put anything in there yet. This whole wall are my Copic markers, which I have sorted by like color families. These poles are like $3 from IKEA, and these little tubs are $1 each. And I think like they're cute, but they're also functional because I can take it off and take it to my station and work with it. I wanted something like that because I often draw in bed. Here is my heat gun, which is plugged in, like I can turn it on right now. I find I use it a lot more often whenever it's plugged in and ready to go and close to me. Paintbrushes, I have a ton of, these are like cheap crappy ones so that I don't care if I ruin them. So they're all in there. This is a glaze. More of those micro beads. Apparently I have them in 2 locations. Here's a stamp that I carved. That's probably, I think this is the first stamp I ever carved out, actually. This stuff is cool. I don't use it too often, but it's like this sparkly powder stuff. It's very cool. I got this tip from Julie Balzar, and I haven't decided yet if I like it or not, because if I forget about it, it gets gross, but I have like a jar of water at all times, and I usually like try to empty it after every time I use it, but sometimes I forget. This is from last night, so it's not like it's been there for a week, but if I forget it for a couple of days, it gets smelly. It's gross. Here's a bunch of paint. Oh, and the nice thing about all of these baskets is that I can take them off. I hardly ever take these ones off, but this I do. I can take this off and take it to my desk. Same here, take this off. These are Prismacolor, Prismacolor pencils. Boop. Whole bunch of those. This is a book. These are tags that I have made, and then this book is pretty awesome. It's word cards by Memesine, and they're all cut to size. It's like watercolor. It's sort of like watercolor paper. But this is something I work on if I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'll make like a bunch of these. This is a calendar designed by a friend of mine that I need to switch because it's on the wrong month, but that's okay. Washi tape. Again, I can take this off the wall. Take it, like you often see it in my videos, but this is where it lives. That's pretty much like all my supplies. This is like some fiber miscellaneous art that's made by Natalie Balick, which I think is really cool. This is something I randomly found at a yard sale like years ago, and I thought it was super cool, so I've had that forever. Here's a painting that I made. In fact, there's a bunch of paintings by me up there, which I should probably try to sell or something, but I kind of like them, so. Velcro that I used for making those homemade distress ink applicators. These are tins, like picture frames, just random stuff from the recycling center that I hang there so that if I'm like, I don't know what to do, I'll find something there. Okay, so that's like my main, this is my main art journal station. I will show you the rest of my craft room though. Ignore the mess because it's always messy. Okay, here is, this is my sewing machine that I don't like. Don't really use it anymore since I got a kid. That's like a regular adult size sewing machine, but I bought a kid sewing machine and now I only use the kid one, which is weird. Here is a sewing box that I repurposed. I meant to put pictures of my blog with this project, but I don't think I ever did. But I put the zebra print fabric on it. These boxes are all of my miscellaneous sewing stuff. So like we have lace trim, we have embroidery wool, bric-a-brac, and so you see it's just full of, and it's a lot easier for me to like actually use it now that I have it sorted. Here, again, it's messy back there, but this is all, each one of these is full of fabric and they're all sorted by color. So like you can see this is like purple and green, this is all pink, this is like black and white. I have like 2 tubs of black and white, I think, because that's my favorite. This is all school stuff here. Those are my crutches because I broke my foot, well, chip fracture this week. I don't actually use them though because I'm stubborn. Here, this is school stuff here, but it's like super organized. It used to be just a chaotic mess, but now it's organized. It's great. It's still a chaotic mess in other places of the house. Okay. Over here is kind of like lesser used stuff. So here is recycled silk wool. That's like miscellaneous stuff from my jewelry business. Boxes of cards, different sprays, which I never use because I hate them, but I have them. This is a box of homemade spray inks. Who knows what's in here? Let's see. Oh, doilies, tarot cards. This is actually labeled on the other side, but put in wrong. See? These are these coaster things that I bought to make postcards out of. So when you get your postcard, this is what it started looking like. The back still looks the same, just with my writing on it. Old dictionary that I use for stuff. Miscellaneous artwork in progress. Let's see, let's put at the top of the pile. Oh, I guess this one's actually done. I should hang that up. That's probably the only one that's actually finished. Let's see. I guess that one is sorta, I don't know, that one could use something. It's kind of cool. Anyway, that is that. All sorts of paper stuff is in here. This is cool because I have a work surface usually. In fact, This is my paper cutter, and it lives there. Sometimes I move it if I need the space for something else. Miscellaneous drawers of whatever kind of vintage photographs. There's atlases. This is like, I don't know what this stuff is actually called. It's fabric on one side and paper on the other side. I have a ton of that, which I'm gonna make some journals out of at some point. More paper down here. And then these drawers are mostly for my jewelry business. Like, these are change purses, little book necklaces, miscellaneous parts for necklaces. Here's some finished product. That's a bottle opener. That's a pocket mirror. Whole drawer of pocket mirrors. Over here we have all of my art books, which I know they're not really used, but I don't really look at them that often, but I wanted to have them so that when I wanted to, I could get to them. And what I do is I pull out this pile, because these are just like tubs of all my button parts. I just pull that out and then get in there and get whatever books. Here I have stuff I don't use very often, or like that I don't use very like every day, like my stamp carving stuff. I want to be able to get it when I want it, but I don't carve a stamp every day. This has recycled pencils, dried balsam needles, and glue pads, so it's obviously random stuff. This is all refills for like Copic markers or spare paint markers, etc. Here's like stack of, there's a few missing because I sent them in to possibly be published, but stack of journals that are finished. They live here. Here I have, this is all like art jewelry or random magazines. This is like a painting in progress that I should maybe finish. It looks really weird, right? Ready-made, because it's awesome. I have like 2 things full of ready-made. This is like Somerset, art journaling, cloth, paper, scissors, because I keep all of those magazines. I don't really buy that many of them, so it's not like it gets completely overwhelming. Here, this is like just prints of like my artwork. These 2 boxes are full of mini canvases, and so when I want to work on a small project, I come grab a little canvas from over here. And I have, this is a drawing by Nick. Nick made me this. This you guys have seen is the original for the postcard. Some paintings that I did. Signed band poster from Rasputina. And some more artwork here. And even some more artwork there that's just, like, I just have so much stuff and not enough room for it. So, and that's where I work. So I hope that you enjoyed this kind of random tour of my studio. It really is that messy, and perhaps messier than it appears. But I get a lot of stuff done, and everything I need, like, I know where it is. Someone else might not be able to find it, but I can find it. So, have fun making space for your artwork this week, and I'll see you next week.